I think for all of the change to happen, usually it's the underrepresented group or the minority or the group that is suffering from that unfairness, injustice that starts trying to create change. But actually, it's not on them to fix, the system, society, the organization, right? Because it requires a lot of emotional labor, and it is exhausting, right? But often they are also not in the position of power to create that change. And that's why we need, for example, to start with leaders, the people who own the processes, who are driving the culture of an organization, to take full responsibility for that change. And then there's everybody else. There are people who have managerial responsibility, who are responsible for sharing the workload, for example, assigning work to team members, creating development opportunities, giving feedback that is going to be supporting that progression and career progression. And there's colleagues who are creating that environment where people feel that they can be themselves, they can be open and transparent about who they are, their background, and feel that they belong. So it really is on all of us in different ways to contribute. And I know there's a number of diversity and inclusion specialists on the line today, and we were talking about that, you have it earlier, that often they are one person team, and it can feel very, very lonely, and it can feel that it is only on you. But there's a lot of people across organizations who are keen to support. They just don't really know maybe how to do that. So it's important, the 5-day challenge, to give them the tools to do so. But I just want to reach out to those colleagues who are in those roles. There's a quote that says to never underestimate the power of small group of committed people to change the world, because in fact that's the only thing that ever has. So it's just keeping that in mind, because it's a bit of a roller coaster. So first and foremost, it's a catalyst for conversation. So we talk and work on race equity all year round, but it's really an opportunity for us to take the time, pause, reflect, and engage our people. We use the 5-day challenge. So we are a law firm. Our lawyers, literally, time is money. They charge their time. So 5 minutes can really make a difference. So that's a very super effective way to engage people who are very time poor. So we push out the 5-day challenge. We obviously encourage people to join your events. And this year we released our very first race equity update report, because what we realized is, like, we've been working on this for a decade. But actually, how much do our own people know about the work we are doing in the background, trying to create more equitable and fair processes, looking at data, creating like better inclusion through like training our leaders, etc. So we wanted to make sure that people understand the work we've been doing, our plans for the future, and our ambition. So we've released the report, and then we had a panel session with our senior partner, which is the equivalent of a chairperson, and our race equity partner, to talk about the report, talk about their personal experiences when it comes to race equality, and also open the conversation to the floor and have a two-way conversation. And it's been very well received. That genuine, open, honest conversation about, look, we've made some progress, but these are all of the challenges that will still remain to be tackled. And we also had a legal sector event last night in our Glasgow office, because we are all across the UK, in partnership with the local law society, to talk about ethnic diversity in the legal sector in Scotland in particular. And again, it was very, very well received. So very positive. People acknowledge the fact that we are being honest about the conversation and that we are having the conversation. We've got strategic priorities specifically related to race equity. We've got a plan. And so the next few things are around more training for our leaders, but also for our entire workforce, to help them increase their awareness, their understanding of the challenges that exist, but also giving them the tools. That's what I told them on Wednesday. It's on all of us, but you're not on your own. We'll help you. to contribute. We are developing a development program for our talent, ethnic minority talent. I think they are the key priorities. One thing that is linked to progression, because we know it's one of the biggest challenges. It's making sure that ethnically diverse talent progress through the rank into more senior positions. It's making sure that work allocation is being done fairly, and so people have access to those opportunities to develop and progress.